Welcome. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take the torso sloper and turn it into a dress sloper. Today we are going to develop a fitting shell for the 5-piece sloper set. To make the sleeve, you will need to review the basic sleeve pattern that I taught. I'll leave a link in the description below. The torso sloper is used for blouses, dresses, coats, jackets, things that are not fitted at the waist. The dress sloper has a bodice front and back, and a skirt front and back, and the sleeve. It's used for making more fitted garments, like 1950s dresses. Fitted garments with waistlines. The skirt sloper can be used alone to develop skirt patterns. If you do not have a torso sloper but would like to follow along, I suggest that you download and print out the half-scale torso sloper PDF. At the end of the lesson, you will see what to look for, what to check with your new dress fitting shell. Let's get started. We'll be transferring the shoulder dart to the side bust dart. So with your torso sloper, decide where you would like that to be. Trace your front and back torso sloper pieces. Take the front and cut it at the waistline. Measure it, adding a few inches because we're going to transfer this onto paper with seam allowance. Pin it down at center front and bottom. We're going to move the dart, so draw in the new dart, slash to the apex line, and either slash or fold the shoulder dart shut. Pin to secure. Now the opening is the new dart. Stabilize the rest of the pattern and draw in the new dart. You will shorten it from the apex from 1/2 inch to a full inch. The larger the bust, the shorter the dart. Straighten the shoulders by connecting the neck and the edge of the shoulder. Add your seam allowance. I'm adding 1 inch at the waist. That way I can adjust the waist if needed. 3/8 around the neckline. 3/4 at the shoulder. All of this is optional. And 1/2 inch around the armhole. 3/4 inch down the side seam. Fold the new bust dart shut, pressing it down as if it were being ironed down. To do this, I fold the bottom leg and push it up. With rulers and curves, complete your seam allowance. With the dart pinned shut, cut it out and mark your notches. This will true your dart. Fold the waistline dart. There's a right angle at center front. Blend all the dots for the seam allowance with your curve. Mark your notch and cut. Again, truing the dart. Now I want to transfer the sleeve notches in the front to the armhole of the front body. I measure from the underarm to the notch and transfer that to the body in the front armhole area. Now taking the bottom part of the torso sloper, we're going to create a skirt. Measure it, transfer it to paper, and pin it down. Extend the widest part of the hip straight down to create a skirt. Usually this will fall a little below the knee. Add seam allowance, and I'm adding the same amount of seam allowance down the side seam of the skirt as I did the bodice, in this case 3/4 inch. Fold your dart and true it. Mark your notches. Mark your side seam notches, center front, and hip, and cut it out. I'm allowing a 2-inch hem. I always mark my seam allowances. That way there's no question when I go to sew the garment. I also add a lot of information, repeating the same process as we did for the front. First, securing the back bodice to a piece of paper. We're going to have a zipper down the center back, so I'm creating a straight line and a 1-inch seam allowance down center back of the bodice and the skirt. I also can see that the waist dart is a little bit wider than I want. So I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch less and take that 1/2 inch off the side seam. So I'm coming inside those 2 dart legs, 1/4 of an inch on either side, and marking my new dart. Erasing the old markings, and take it 1/2 inch off the side seam at the waist to 0 under the arm. Just trim that right off. Secure the rest of the pattern. Add your seam allowance. A right angle at center back. True your darts. Darts are usually folded toward the center, either center front or center back. And complete your notches. Side seams, top and bottom, shoulders, darts, center back, and I like to mark the middle of my dart and put what the dart intake is, in this case 5/8 of an inch on either side. And now I'm going to transfer the notches of the sloper sleeve to the back armhole. So measure from the underarm up to the first notch, transfer that to the back armhole, excluding seam allowance. Be sure you do not include seam allowance. The back armhole and back of the sleeve have 2 notches, the front has 1. And now for the bottom part. Again, measure so you know how wide and long to make the paper. Add your 1-inch extension for center back. Secure it down. This dart has to be treated the same as the bodice dart, making it narrower and taking the excess off the side. The bodice and the skirt darts also have to align. I know that the bodice dart starts 3 inches from the center back, so this dart must do the same. True your dart and cut. Now you can see that the darts align from top to bottom, the same distance from center back to the first leg, the second leg to the side seam. Here are the 2 front pieces and the back pieces. This is the pattern that we just made, the pattern for the sloper and the fitting shell. After making any adjustments to the fitting shell, you'll transfer everything to oak tag. An easy way to get this on is to put a safety pin onto a ribbon and pull it up the back. And here's my fitting shell. Things to check: shoulder line, armhole placement, darts, waistline. See if it's taken in enough in the sides. And check the hips to make sure there's enough room without being too tight or too loose. You want enough room to be able to move easily and comfortably. And here is our oak tag 5-piece sloper set. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. From here, we will develop dresses and other more fitted garments. See you next time.